What is up, everybody? So today I have Ash here. Ash is just going to give us a rundown on, your experience in the program so far, give you guys a little bit of idea, a little understanding, because I know it's always like a big thing when you might want to jump into a program, like what is even involved. Like, so Ash is basically just going to run you through some stuff. So I'll ask a couple questions, and give you guys a rundown, right? So Ash, go ahead, just give us a little brief idea, like where you located, what do you do for work? And then like where were you kind of at when we first talked like a few months ago?
Okay. I live in northern Utah, about an hour north of Salt Lake City. I currently work in an office setting. I spent 10 years in the military and had two children during that time, like as I served. When you and I started meeting, I wanted to lose some weight. I'd been out of the army for about a year and I packed on some pounds. Um, I lost weight, but I lost weight in like killing myself and running. Like that's all I did. I just did cardio, cardio, cardio. And I was basically eating nothing. I was eating really low protein, pretty much living off carbs and cardio.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that's something we kind of incorporated into Ash's program, like was just learning to bring foods back in, and make sure we get that protein intake. Only because like we have a goal, right? We have a goal of the body recomp. Ash is still in the program right now, so we're really focusing on those types of things. So like building strength, changing your body composition, all that fun stuff. So just kind of give them a rundown on almost like what your programming kind of looks like right now. So kind of paints a picture for maybe someone that's watching.
Yeah. So when Megan and I started, I was doing some workouts at home, and I think we were doing 4 or 5 days
Hmm.
as I worked on getting back into a gym and just feeling confident in the gym. And then as my life has kind of changed over like the 12, 14 weeks, we've gone from 5 days to 4 days, just focusing on different areas during those days. I kind of started your program thinking like weight loss is what I wanted. And as the weeks went on, I realized that like I was fitting into clothes better because I was losing inches, maybe not weight, but I was gaining strength and muscle. So I think you've been really great about adjusting as I needed for what I needed that week, or like where I was at mentally, or the goal I had in that time period.
Oh yeah, for sure. And we actually got to work out together, which I thought was pretty cool. While I was in Utah, so that was a fun time.
Yeah.
We pushed a little bit further than you were used to, right? We were throwing some weight around that you haven't really got a chance to pick up, and that's also something like I want you guys to understand is like going past your boundaries that you might not have initially thought that you could do. So, which is really great. That's why I like traveling around. Like if I can meet anyone, I like really try to. All right, sweet. So like when we first talked and stuff like that, like what kind of made you want to invest in yourself and want to do an online program other than maybe go to like an in-person trainer?
Yeah. Um, I I think some of it was like my anxiety and confidence in it, right? Like doing that in person. At first I thought I was just gonna work at home when you and I started.
Yeah.
And then kind of what sold me really on working with you was a conversation I had with another client of like, hey, what does this kind of entail? And then what would I get out of it? And then I was a little hesitant at first, but I think once we started, I realized that what I was getting out of this program was more than I would get by like seeing someone at the gym. If I met someone at the gym that was doing training items, right? That's how I got. I got the
Yeah.
stuff at the gym. You give me check-ins, like we do video calls. Like I know I have texted you questions. I'm like, I don't understand what
Yeah.
you want me to do in this workout. Like, so like those are things that I don't think I had never seen, or I don't think I'd get when I see like other personal trainers at a gym with the person they're working with.
Yeah. And that's always something like I wanted to make sure you guys get like all the information, especially the nutrition side of things, because that is like a huge game changer and just like almost like meshing your mindset around the types of foods that you can eat and that are like, the banned foods, you're not supposed to eat that stuff, but like understanding like it can actually work for your typical, you can fit things in and not feel super guilty about it. So that's always a big thing right there. Um, is there anything maybe like results or transformations that you have seen that not necessarily might have been either on the scale or like increasing the weight in the gym, like maybe things mindset wise, have you noticed anything kind of in that area?
I think a lot of it has just been confidence, right? Confidence in using different gym equipment or even going to the gym. I mean, you and I talked about like I have to like walk through an area I don't feel super comfortable in. And
Yeah.
now like I work in there and that's totally normal.
Yeah.
So I think it's in a lot of that, just the confidence of like I can do things that are more than just running on a treadmill. And I can go into spaces that I didn't totally feel comfortable. Like, that's what I've gained.
Yeah, which is super cool because I remember you saying that like I usually stay out of this room and I was like, well, let's just go into it. Like let's go check it out. I was like, what do they got in here? But it's
Yeah.
cool. It's like kind of pushing you outside your comfort zone and that's how you grow. And I'm sure like you notice some changes like that as you progress forward. You're like, all right, like I feel pretty good going to the gym now and using these machines because we kind of like even when I went to the gym with you it was like, oh, there's this. You're like, oh yeah, that's cool. So that's a huge help. And lastly, like any maybe piece of advice for someone that might be listening, what would you say someone that might be on the fence that was maybe in your position when you kind of talked to like one of my clients was like, what would you tell like maybe your past self or someone that's in your shoes?
Um, I think you get a lot out of the program that you put in, right? So like you're there and you're available if I needed something, right? But I probably could have not floundered as much, right? Like I could have been like, hey, like Megan, I have these questions, right? Or like our
Hmm.
weekly Zoom calls, we could all like I could get more involved. Or if I would have started again, I think I would have asked more questions instead of been like, I'm just gonna watch and see how this kind of goes.
Yeah.
I think the things that I got when I was talking with someone else was like, okay, like what do I totally get at it? Because I wasn't so sure about like, oh, this or this or this, right? But
Yeah.
there is so much you get, right? Like I would use the recipe books a lot sooner of like, no, like I can totally figure out this food stuff, right? No, like you literally give us like, hey, make this. This equals exactly what you need this week, right?
Yeah.
I spent the first 2 weeks doing too much of that. And I would tell myself or someone else, like, no, like jump into this, get everything you can out of it because these are stuff when you and I are done that I can continue to use. I just had to like I needed the structure to get the discipline in doing this and the tools and resources to move forward.
Yeah, that's awesome. But yeah, that's something I always tell people too, like when they're first jumping in. I'm like, look, like don't be shy, like ask me questions. Like you have me for that amount of time. And I know you extended too, so you're like jumping in this I'm sure like day one Ash is gonna be a little bit different than this month's Ash, but it's good to know and it's good to like also like inform other people like don't be afraid to ask your coach questions or if it's something that you never done before like you don't have to be the fly on the wall like jump in like that's the whole point of this it's a learning process and where you might be at like starting like someone's going to be more completely different so, like don't compare yourself that's always another thing too like don't make with someone that's been doing like I've worked with clients for up to a year, like maybe them compared to someone that's like on their day one. Like everyone's here to learn, everyone's here to get better. So hopefully that is a big help to everyone that's watching this video. Hope everyone has a great day and thanks so much, Ash.
Yeah, no problem.